Good morning and good afternoon to everybody. I am Tina Tasaka with 420 Technologies and Cannabis X America. And this is a podcast talking about consumption lounges. I am here today with Josh Davis, and he has a consumption lounge in Denver, Colorado. So I'm very excited to be talking to him today. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, Tina. I'm excited to be here. And there's a lot to talk about when it comes to consumption.
That is so true. And it is so great how we met. We met on LinkedIn.
Yes, we did.
And we had been chatting actually a little over a year and a half ago, and then we reconnected on LinkedIn because we were doing some chatty chats on LinkedIn, and you popped up again, and I was like, you know what? We're going to do a podcast together. And you obliged, and I so thank you for that. So here we are today, and it's exciting because your consumption lounge has been in business for 3 years. And when you told me that, I thought that's even a better reason to do a podcast because you have data, you
Yes.
have you have intel, and the consumption lounges that are opening right now, I mean new ones, and even the consumption lounges that are in Las Vegas that have only been around for just a year, they're just getting their little tidbits of data. And yes, they have data, but do they have enough solidified data to really do a lot with it? I don't know that answer, but you do. You have data for 3 years now, so you really know your customer.
Yes.
um,
Yes.
but before we get there, I would love to just hear your story and hear your background of how did you get started and why did you want to do a consumption lounge?
Well, all right. Truth be told, I've dealt with sex offenders my entire life. I'm a former parole officer for sex offenders, did private practice therapy, and then I was a social worker. And that's my background, like just generally helping people. Um, but I've always believed in marijuana. And so um, there was always a little bit of crossover. And then when Colorado went legal, I got hit up by a couple of attorneys to ask me to interpret some rules and regulations on why their clients were being violated by the regulation. And so I obliged. And from there, really felt the need to teach people how to interpret these rules because they are very complex. They're not written in a manner that's easily understandable. And so it was very easy for me to be like, all right, this is what it says, but here's what it actually means. Meaning that if you do this, you're going to get in trouble. I know it says that you can, but what they're telling you is you really can't. And here's where it says that. And so really spelling things out for people was how I got into it. And from there, I just started a company called Legacy 64 that was based off the Amendment 64 in Colorado that gave us recreational marijuana and the legacy behind it. So Legacy 64. And we were specifically teaching people how to follow rules and getting people licenses. It was a job that I loved. But when hospitality started to become a discussion, I had to get involved because it's something that I've always believed in. I'm not a heavy drinker. I'm not a big believer in let's all stand around the campfire and drink beers together. But I am a big believer in let's stand around the campfire and interact with each other. And so how do we do that in a safe manner? Well, for me, that's where marijuana came in. And so when hospitality became a thing, I really had to get behind it and get on board. And so when the state of Colorado released hospitality licensing in 2020, I was like a little kid at Christmas. I mean, I was over the moon. I was like, all right, everybody, let's go, let's go, let's go. But at the same time, COVID happened and not only shut down the state, but shut down the world. And so it didn't matter that good old Colorado gave us hospitality because we couldn't do anything. We were still just smoking weed in our basements because we couldn't go anywhere. And so from that time, my wife was tired of me bitching and moaning. And she's like, baby, figure it out. So I started calling all the counties and saying, hey, Colorado has given us this. What are you guys doing? And pretty much every county hung up on me. They're like, we're closed. It's COVID. What are you doing?
What are you smoking?
Exactly. And I was like, well, if I go into your grocery store, which again is considered an essential business, do I still pay city and county taxes? Of course you do. Well, then you guys are open. You're just working from home. Let's not get it twisted. You don't just get to take tax money and not be accountable for it. So, counties, let's get the ball rolling. Let's start doing something. And some of them were willing to hear me out on that. Others were still, no, we're closed, and hung up the phone. But Adams County, where I'm sitting right now, they were like, yes, they were already doing their thing. And so they're like, yes, let's continue to roll it forward. Here's what we're going to do. And so that's what we did. And they ended up doing a lottery on August 13th, 2020. And so I had quite a few balls in that lottery. I had everybody I know fill out an application. It was pretty simple. I did not win one of the first 5 licenses. I was actually awarded a backup license. And so Adams County gave everybody who won a license 6 months to get your facility, to get all of your application done, to get everything approved. Well, in the middle of COVID, 6 months wasn't very long because people weren't doing anything. It's not like there were realtors out there showing properties and everything like that. Everything was closed. So 6 months went by very fast. I get a call from the county. They said, Josh, you're up. But let me be very honest with you. Don't get your hopes up. No one's been able to do anything. It's the middle of COVID. Sorry about your luck. And I just kind of laughed and said, game on, and here we go. And so because I was already paying attention to what was going on, I had already got a couple buildings that I knew would qualify. And so I was just waiting, hoping and praying that my chance would come. And so when I got the call, I was like, no, I'm actually already ready. I've got a couple buildings that the county can vet, so on and so forth. Let's do the process. And so here we are. And so because I was lucky. 2, I was paying attention. And 3, I was lucky. Here we are.
That is a great story that you already had a building already ready to go, or like you said, that is just amazing. So, from a compliance and regulatory situation, you're kind of ready, hovering, and now you're ready to just start the build out. Is that correct? So you were ready for the build out.
Yep, that is exactly it. So I did.
So from the time of build out, from time of build out, when did you open? What was the time frame?
So, and all truthfulness, it took about a year for everything to get done. I mean, the build out was easy. It didn't take us long to do that at all. In fact, the mural that I'm sitting in front of, it took the guy longer to paint all of these murals than it did to actually do the build out. What took so long, and it was through no fault of their own, I don't want to act like I'm being mean here, was the county. And so because we were the first one and they had never done anything like this before, it took them a little bit longer than their initial time frame. So they told me, hey, we'll have this done by this time. But it took them 4.5 additional months after that to again go through all of our inspections to make sure that we met clean air and were suitable to actually open and keep people safe while they are in here. Because again, when you have 150 people in a building smoking marijuana, doing dabs and all that kind of stuff, that's a lot of smoke. And so you got to make sure that air quality is clean and safe, and it's okay for people to be in there. And so for the county to make sure that we met all of these requirements took a little bit extra time. So it was about a year from beginning to here you guys go, open up and get rocking.
Yeah, so you dealt with HVAC, and so would you mind divulging what was your budget number that you had to deal with for HVAC? What was the final number or the range?
So for HVAC installation and then the additional energy load that I had to have Excel put on this building so it could power the HVAC, we're just under 1 million.
Yeah, that's about, yeah, we're, most times when I'm talking to a consumption lounge or you're looking at a budget, you're looking at $500,000. Absolutely.
And we, again, have to thank my lucky stars because I got lucky on the building that I'm in. I have a 9 foot ceiling, which is great, which means I only have to clean 9 feet of air. Some of these buildings with 24, 25, 26 foot ceilings, that's a lot of air to clean. And the way the regulations are, you have to clean the air essentially at 5 feet 6 inches, 5 feet 8 inches, because that's the standard human being. That's our average height. So cleaning the air up at 24 feet does you no good because we're not up there breathing that air. We're still down here breathing this air. So your ventilation is all the way up there, 26 feet, 24 feet, whatever, and blasting that air down again at 60 CFMs, which is an egregious amount. To clean that air, it was a process. And so for some of these, my wife and I have met with some companies that want to do their own. And the first thing I tell them is, hey, try and find a low ceiling. That's the best piece of advice that I can give you, because now we're cleaning less air. The higher your ceiling, the more air you're going to have to clean. The actual square footage of your building is irrelevant. Like, we're in a 4,000 square foot building, and I would be doing the same thing whether I was doing 2,000 square feet or 6,000 square feet, because I have to clean the air that people are breathing. And so it gets interesting. And so it was a very awesome learning process. I learned more doing that than and a lot of the classes I paid for to get my college degree, and so it was pretty awesome. Now, with all of that said, and again, I don't want to be mean to anyone because my number one goal is to keep everyone safe. These regulations are extreme. They are very needless. We don't need to do 60 CFMs to clean air. That's an egregious standard. We could do it at probably 20 and just cycle the entire space one time an hour, and you're going to have safe, clean air. Think about an airplane. You're in there coughing, sneezing, doing all kinds of crazy things right next to people. And their filtration system, which is super quality, is much less than what we're doing here. And so I think as more people get these open, and there can be more people like me saying, hey, this is too much, and here's all of the data to show it. Because right now I have the data for my building, which is great. I need 100 more like this that are all similar, that I can come back and say, nope, we all are at the same thing. 20, 30 would be just fine. 60, that's just way too much.
Yeah. And you know what? These are such excellent nuggets for anybody that is opening and thinking about doing a consumption lounge, because they are all having to look at that budget number for HVAC and everybody. I think that's why the slowdown happened, quite frankly, is nobody anticipated that number. And then they're hit with this big number. But so these are excellent nuggets. And I so thank you that you're talking about it. But let's move on to products. So, you guys, obviously, you've been open for 3 years. Products have changed immensely. Okay. I mean, they have just, you know, products have changed greatly. There's so much more on the market now. You've got anywhere, so I'm real curious that when you started and then where you are now. So, you did mention that you were doing dabs and that you offer dabs. So I'm curious, like, when you first opened, was your menu more limited back then? And now do you have a bigger menu choices? Let's
Yes.
start with that. Like, what did you start with and where are you today? And then let's talk about what your best seller is today.
So for us, like when we first opened, the state would only let us sell a half gram of concentrate. They were afraid. They didn't want people consuming, let's just say, 8 grams of concentrate and then getting behind the wheel of a car and going off and doing whatever their day dictates that they do. So
Okay,
we
so
can
no
only,
pre-roll, no
oh,
pre-rolls,
it was
no
terrible.
flour.
So for flour, we could only sell 2 grams of flour, and then we could only sell a half gram of concentrate and only 20 milligrams of edibles. They called it micro sales. So we went our first year like that. And then my wife and I had a bill written, got it approved, blah, 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 got the state to pass it. And so now we have dispensary level limits. So we can sell an ounce of flour, 8 grams of concentrate, all of that kind of stuff. That changed the game for us. Not only did it allow us to buy actual product on the market, it allowed us to give consumers a real experience. When we were doing half-gram concentrates, we literally had to beg vendors to make this product because that's not something that they normally sell. Most dispensaries are selling grams. And so for them to make us a half gram, they had to do specialized testing, and it sucked. And so we had some great vendors that worked with us. It was awesome. People that were willing to bend over backwards to make sure that we had product. It was great. But now that we can sell, now that we're a big boy Geppetto and we can sell real product, it's even better. The experience is better. People can actually do real dabs. You know, we have multiple student classes that they can run their dabs through. We give them a Dab X as the house unit to consume all their concentrates out of. So it's a much better experience. And then it opened us up to all kinds of more vendors. I don't want to say better vendors because everybody's putting out great product. Like the people that do this stuff, these guys they're scientists these days.
Yeah.
The stuff
And Colorado's got a
creating,
legacy market. Colorado's
yes.
just got a legacy market and was one of the first states, to come on for recreational and for medical. So, I mean, Colorado's got deep roots, deep roots.
And so the things that these guys are doing, and gals, let me rephrase that. The things that these people are doing will blow your mind. And so I am a firm believer that all of the products, whether you're getting it here at High Society or any of the dispensaries here, you're not getting garbage product. Everybody that is on the market these days is putting out good product. And part of that is because we're all doing the same thing. Like 90% of the market does the same steps. And then you have your free thinkers that have figured out, oh, I can do this additional thing and make things better over here. I can do that and make it better over here. People that just think outside the box and take it next level. And so there's some great people out there. And that's what makes this experience so unique. Because again, we do have a variety of vendors, not just one or two. I think on our concentrate tray right now, we have 16 different vendors that you can choose from. We have 27 different flower strains from 14 different vendors right now that we have displayed on the shelf, not including what I have in back. And so, no, we try and give everybody a variety, and it creates a good space.
What is your best seller? When people come in, what do they want to experience the most?
Okay. So that is a two-part question. All right. So
you don't have to name a brand per se, but in what category is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
So like our tourists who come in and it's like going to Disneyland and they get all googly-eyed. What's the easiest ride to ride, just so you can get on a ride and start the experience going, right? Well, it's the same thing here. Their eyes will get all big and they're like, okay, well, let me start with the pre-roll because that's easy. But by the end of it, they're eating infused cotton candy. They've got themselves a half ounce of flour. They're doing a gram of concentrate. It always starts with probably a pre-roll because that's easy, and then goes up from there. Now, for your more experienced people, again, just like if you go to the bar and you're a beer drinker, you're drinking that beer. If you're a cocktail person, you're drinking that cocktail. We have the same people. They come in, they want their dabs, and they set up and so here I will walk it over real quick. They'll set up right here at the bar, so you guys can see. And
I
literally
love this.
just we call it the dab bar. They just sit and we'll do their dabs at the dab bar. And so then we have our other people that will hang out at any of the tables and plug in and work all day long. And so um, it's it's different for everyone. It depends on who it is, like our daily workers, our industry workers that come in here and hang out all day and run their meetings and whatnot. If they're a dab salesman, then they're doing dabs most of the day, as that's the product they're trying to sell to all of the people coming in to see them. The flower salesman, they sell flower. But our basic customer, it's again what they would do at home. They come in here and do. And so it always starts with that pre-roll though, or the infused pre-roll. Those are the best things. And so it's very important that we start with quality pre-rolls.
Do you call your attendants bud tenders?
No, call them hospitality associates.
I
Um,
love
and
that.
and
Hospitality associates,
and here's why.
HAs.
Yes, because the whole everyone in here is designed to make your experience hospitable. Like we wanted to give you the best experience possible. And I hate the term bud tender. I really do. Because even your dispensary bud tenders, they call it, they're much more than that. Have a conversation with them. 90% of those people know way more than they get credit for. Because again, I, as a consumer, I come in, what's your highest testing product? It's this one over here. Okay, I'll take that. You didn't ask what the best product was. You didn't ask, you didn't tell me how you want to feel and give me the opportunity to tell you, hey, cool, the terpenes in this flower over here is going to do that way more than this high testing. And so I hate the term bud tender because it in my mind, and this is just me speaking, it dumbs those people down. It makes them less than what they are. They are flower connoisseurs. Like, use them, talk to them, tell them how you want to feel, and then let the professionals give you a better experience. And so I don't do bud tenders. We're hospitality associates. We're all professionals. Tell us how you want to feel, and we're gonna get you there.
They are a sommelier to your business. And, I think that was the disruptor to the cannabis lounge industry, a year and a half ago when everybody started calling it hospitality. And you can't imagine, someone like me who has been in hospitality for 30 years. I was in gaming. I was like,
Yes.
it is hospitality. This is hospitality. It just oozes hospitality. There's, a cannabis lounge. I'm not going to say there's nothing different from a cannabis lounge than a bar or restaurant, because there are huge, massive differences in a cannabis lounge. But it is hospitality. You are serving guests. They are
Yes.
coming in for a product. You are serving a guest. You just have different nuances. You need to be
Yes.
uber aware of so many other things, from, sanitation, and, you've got regulations and compliance that are different than your typical lounge and bar. But you're absolutely right. So hospitality, 1,000,000%. And I think that everybody in our industry agrees with that.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. Um,
We're gonna
so,
we're gonna make
okay.
this
So
mainstream.
what's that?
I said we're gonna make this mainstream. We're
Oh,
gonna
there's no question. There's no question. And I think that we're getting ready to see the day. We might not see it in 2025. We may see it later on in 2025, but we're going to see that lounge in a football stadium. We're not going to yet see it in a casino. We have it on tribal land. We have it on tribal land now with casino, but we're not going to see it in a commercial casino like in Las Vegas. But we're getting closer. Um, so
Tina,
I
I'm putting
wanted to
it here
ask
in
you this.
Colorado though.
What's that?
I said I'm gonna put it here in Colorado though. Vegas is a little bit tougher, but I will have a lounge in casino in Central City.
We're going to need to talk offline about that one for sure. Absolutely. Definitely. Definitely. So now, what are you doing? So 2025 is supposed to be the hot year for cannabis lounges. It's the big growth spurt. There's a lot of licensing going on. Sacramento has 40 licenses. West Hollywood, Las Vegas, New Jersey is booming. Uh,
Yes.
so is
Massachusetts is coming on.
Massachusetts is supposed to boom too. Um, Cannabis drinks also, cannabis beverages, the THC beverages are booming. Of course, the hemp D9 drinks are booming. Do you have these drinks in your lounge as well?
I do, and they are huge sellers. Cannabis drinks are phenomenal. They are big. Like you saw my tap lines. I'm currently
I
working
saw
with
that. I did.
yeah,
So please, can you tell us what you're doing? And then Colorado has some real funky laws with like with THC and hemp D9 drinks. They've got some real funky stuff. Can you touch
yes,
on that?
yes. So first, we'll do the tap line. So that's my goal. I'm currently working with a company who's running kegs, and we're going to dispense it just like a bar should. Remember, I said I'm normalizing this. So anything the liquor world has, I'm gonna make sure that we have here. Like I'm putting this front and center. Uh, Drinks are huge. They are huge. They are safe. They are a great way for someone who has never consumed to get into the consumption space. Drinks are phenomenal. And quite honestly, the ones that they're making these days actually taste good. Like it's crazy.
They do. They are super yummy.
Yes. They, whether you want a seltzer or an actual soda, like these companies, again, these people are scientists. They're doing stuff that will blow your mind. And no, their flavor profiles are on point.
Nanotechnology.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Now here in Colorado, it's interesting. I love our state and I love what we do, but we're divided. Okay, we have 50% that wants to be the forefront. We want to be the leaders. We want to be the ones who are trying new things, doing new things, seeing what works and seeing what doesn't work. You know, if it doesn't work, cool, we can scale it back and we can again show all of the data to other states. Hey, here's what we did. It didn't work for us. Maybe it'll work for you. There's all kinds of reasons why it would, and maybe it won't, and here are reasons why it won't, whatever the case may be. Then we have the people who are just controlled by fear and honestly do not want to do anything. They actually want to scale back what we're doing in marijuana. They want to make it harder for us um, to essentially do business. And so because of that, and it truly is a 50-50 split, makes things tough. And so with all of our hemp drinks and everything like that, I think we should be doing one thing. The state says, nope, you should be way less. You should be much more restrictive in what you do. Now, I'm a former social worker. I'm a former parole officer. Safety is my number one thing. You'll never see me selling to a kid, and you'll never see me over consuming anybody. Like I take that very seriously. But I also don't think that a hemp Delta 9 drink is going to actually overconsume anyone. I just don't. I think that they can consume that. I think our body metabolizes it just fine. You're not going to overconsume like you do alcohol. We just don't. However, in our infinite regulatory meetings, people disagree. And then when people disagree, you have to come to a compromise. And what I have learned about a good compromise is both sides hate it. And that's where we're at. We have some great compromises that both sides hate, and it limits what we can do. But we are moving forward. Like, again, we can sell 100 milligram THC drinks, but hemp drinks are a little bit different. Delta 9 are a little bit different.
Yes.
And I don't understand why. Like, if we can do it on one, why can't we do it on the other? They're the same thing. Like, if we're just being honest, they're the same thing. That's like telling me that I can eat a Jolly Rancher, but I can't eat a C's hard candy. Why? They're the same thing. I don't understand.
I know it is really hard to wrap our heads around it, isn't it? It just doesn't make sense. It
But we continue. Here's what I always tell people: continue to do what they allow us to do, and show them why they should give us more. The same
right.
thing that I do with my child. All right, hey, here's the line. Okay, show me that you're able to meet that line, and then we can talk about crossing it. It's all the same thing. Show them that, hey, yep. Because again, I bring it back to when we first went legal with rec. People don't remember this. It's been so long. You could only buy a quarter of flour, a quarter ounce of flour. That is it. That was all they would let you buy. Then they realized, okay, that's ridiculous. Let's let Colorado, if you had a Colorado state ID, let's let those people buy an ounce. And then they realized how ridiculous that was. And they're like, okay, let's let everybody buy an ounce. And now they're realizing how ridiculous that is. And we have a bill that's going to allow us to be able to buy 2 ounces. And so, again, as I love how you started it off with data. As the data continues to come in and we can show factual data, not made up data, but factual data, our regulations get less and less. And I am hoping, now you brought it up, it's not going to happen in 2025, but I am truly hoping by 2030, I can go to, and again, I'm in Denver here. So I am hoping I can go to Mile High Stadium or Ball Arena and buy an infused drink, buy an edible. I'm not going to say buy a joint because, again, I don't want people consuming marijuana around my kid. Like, I don't want her to have
There's
to inhale
kids.
that.
Yeah, there's children.
No.
Yeah, there's got to be a section then. They've got to have a
Yep. Thank you.
section. Yeah.
Just like I don't want my kid around cigarettes, there is a smoking section. So
Right.
give us that smoking section. Let me take my joint outside and stand with all of the other smokers. You can classify us all as smokers. That's fine. Let me smoke my joint. Okay. I'm not going to bring my kid out there just like other people don't bring their kids when they're smoking cigarettes. Like that's the whole, like, so I think let us be adults, but getting everybody on board with letting adults be adults is kind of tough because not every adult acts like an adult. So it's just a constant struggle.
Yeah.
But we're going to get there.
There is a stadium already doing it. The Portland Penguins is doing it, and they have a THC beverage. I believe it's 4 milligrams of THC and 2 milligrams of CBD. So there
And
is a
that's how it
stadium
should be.
already doing it, a sports team.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Kansas City Royals, you can buy their CBD product at the stadium and consume it and all the same thing. Like we are getting there. We need to collectively stand up. Like, all right, there is so much fighting within the marijuana industry, which baffles me because we all have one common goal, and that's to make us all feel good. And so we need to stop with the fighting and collectively get together and just say, hey, here's what we're doing moving forward. If we all did that, no one's going to stop us. Like the feds aren't going to come in and say no. States aren't going to come in and say no. They're just going to collect the tax money and be happy. As long as we're safe, it doesn't matter.
It's wrapping around that education and the safety protocols and proving those safety protocols over and over and over again. So Josh, we're just right up against those time windows here, but I don't want to lose sight of the fact that you went through a name change and you're getting ready. That name change is official in your mind, but it does have to go through that final name change in the state. You started off as JAD's Mile High Lounge, and now you're High Society.
Yes.
And so, so I wanted to just have you touch on that just real briefly because it was in honor of your father. Yes.
Yes. So JADS stood for John Anthony Davis. That was my dad. And JADS Mile High Smoke was to pay homage to him. He died in 2017. But this is something that we always talked about. And so once I knew I was going to be able to open this, I decided that for the first year, we were going to call it JADS Mile High Smoke. I always knew that once we got the rules changed, that we were going with High Society, Dispo, and Lounge, because essentially that's what we are. But I wanted to start hospitality with the first license ever. And that's the thing. The first license that was ever given out in this country was JADS Mile High Smoke in honor of John Anthony Davis. And a little thing about John Anthony Davis, he's the one who started sex offender therapy. He's the reason why we have sex crime laws, not only in Colorado, but throughout the country. And so I wanted to give him this one too.
What an amazing honor for your father. That just is so incredible. I just love that you did that for your father. I'm sorry you lost your father, but that is such an amazing honor. And to all of our viewers out here, everybody just needed to hear that. That is just so incredible. How many screens do you have throughout the oh my gosh, you have a lot of screens.
Yeah, it's a 4,000 square foot building. The bar TV, and then I have 5 75-inch TVs all throughout the facility. The stage that I was just sitting on, we pull all of this off. This is where people perform. I have, let me try, it's hard doing my computer. I have a microphone and then cameras and everything. We run it on Twitch. So like when we do comedy shows, you can buy Twitch tickets and watch it on Twitch. Then you saw the bar area. And then more couches, seating, and then all of our video games. And then I am putting in just a to-go dispensary area down here at the back of the building.
Well, as just before we wrap up, I would just love to know, and our viewers, I would love to know your crystal ball for 2025. What is big for your business in 2025? What's the one big thing, crystal ball, for you?
So, well, actually, I guess it'll be 419. Wu-Tang will be here as a part of the 420 festival and all of that kind of stuff. So we've got a lot of things going on. Again, we're one of the only places in the world where you can actually do this. And so my whole goal was to make cheers for weed, and we're doing that. But like I said, we've got them coming in. We've got a couple other big acts to round out the year. We've got some 7 special
The
plans
Wu-Tang Clan coming in?
Yeah. Yes.
Which affiliate? You got the Wu-Tang, or you got the affiliate? You got Killer Bees? Who do you have coming in?
All of them. And it's all sponsored from Killer Bees. It all starts with him right there. So he's bringing everybody.
Is it Supreme?
Yeah. Should be a good time. And so that would be 419.
Did you see my interview with Supreme?
I did.
You did?
I did.
We talked about consumption lounges.
You did. And then Wiz Khalifa is going to be here at the same time, not here at this building, but he's going to be in town at the same time, also promoting social consumption. So there's a lot of stuff going on when it comes to consumption, not just with high society, but everyone. And then I'm just going to throw it out there. Track Tina down. She can give you my contact. If you want to get into this, hit me up. I will give you my plans for ventilation that I paid a significant amount of money for. I will give them to anyone who wants to do this, because we should all be doing hospitality. And the more of these that are out there, the better off we're all going to be.
That's amazing. That is unbelievable. That is so generous and amazing. I know so many people that could really use your intel, your knowledge, your generosity. That is so amazing. And, I'm part of the Chamber of Cannabis in Las Vegas. I mean, everybody's affiliated with so many different unique organizations, and everybody, taps into everybody and needs help. That is so amazing. Thank you so much. That's just wonderful.
Happy to do it.
Well, let's definitely plan on jumping back on together again, over the coming months, and do a little check-in together. This is very exciting. And good luck, and just have a spectacular event for 419 and 420. I know we're going to hear all about it.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And I so thank you for coming on with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's really great to meet you. I look forward to meeting you face to face one of these days, for sure. So we will get this out to our viewers for sure, and look forward to our next one together.
Sounds good. Thank you, Tina.
Great. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week and a great weekend. And
you too.
Thank you very much.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Tina Tasaka, Cannabis X America, 420 Technologies.